Thanks for staying with us. We have business now. And public workers union have said the country will lose after period. Deputy Secretary of the union, Michael Nyantechi, has indicated will be leaving beyond obsolete equipment more.
Nyantechi. He is of the view the cost in replacing these assets after the 25-year period will be higher than what the investor put in.
If within the first 5 years, in a number of substations and networks, they really and this transfer of ECG have a lifespan of 25 years. So by the 25 years when the concession is over, you will be obsolete item assets that are getting
its debt to ECG.
ECG is denied of the needed resources and have to resort to borrowing or taking suppliers' cost. Whereas if it had the money, it can go and buy the materials at the prevailing will be better. But now the system that government accumulates all this debt for so long and then come and make a little drop and then a huge amount is still owing, I don't think it's helping the company.
Per Michael Nyantechi, listing the energy company on the stock exchange is a better option than the concession.
Since the MCC compact is for a period of 5 years, let us use this 5-year period to prepare ECG, to retool it, clear off many of the debts, and when the company is in a shape that it can list on the stock exchange, it will be a better option.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyo Hosi, has asked government to align the interest of the public to selection of the ECG private sector concessionaire. Now, he explained the deal must require the investor committing his own money to the business.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senyo Hosi, stated that benefits when there's profits and losses when there are inefficiencies.
I really support the idea conceptually, but it will all boil down to the details, and that's why it's important, a lot more to all of us as a people. The fact that we must align the interests of the private sector or the concessionaire to the interests of us, the public, as far as this public service that is supposed to be delivered is concerned. And that would require that the private sector has his own money in the game.
He suggested the earnings of the concessionaire cannot be tied just to
it should only be tied to clear benchmarks, and their earnings should be tied to how well they perform. Once those things are in place, it means that we are not going to be shortchanged as a people. Profits generate employment, so it's not a bad thing at all. But they should make money only tied to their ability to really deliver the service. The retrenchment is required at any point in time. It must be done because we need efficient and effective service.
According to Senyo Hosi, the problem with ECG is political interventions.
They are accountable to political authorities. I mean, the authorities high and fire. All right, and they also have political authorities as their against their shareholders. So the conflict of interest and the misaligning of interests can always be there because one unit will always have a different. So that's a problem. When you are working as a private sector person, you can't work like a public servant. I mean, if you were not that efficient prior to then, you'll be fired.
Bulk Oil Distributors Boss observed the cost of ECG's inefficiencies is disastrous to the entire nation.
And more on Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, and Senyo Hosi has indicated that prices of petroleum products are lower than they were. It was regulating the prices, which he indicated was benefits to consumers. Senyo Hosi was reacting to a number of questions raised to him by Ibeneji Kumboating of the TV3 Business Desk.
Currently, premium petrol sells at an average of 3 cedis 62 pesewas. Diesel on the average is sold at 3 cedis 55 pesewas. According to are the beneficiaries of deregulation, leaving out suppliers. And the government are working on to ensure suppliers also benefit from the downstream petroleum deregulation.
Could have helped the industry a bit better. But I think the legacy problems, the debt issues have really constrained the older ones from really operating effectively, because the debt hangover is burden is really huge. But I'm sure with what government is to try and come out with some model which we're working with them on, get a full benefit. Our consumers have benefited the most. Prices are lower. Was regulating the prices.
He argued for the Tema Oil Refinery and all other state-owned enterprises to entities in order to make
a decision in a state-owned enterprise, and when it goes wrong, taxpayers will always have to pay for it. Then we are creating people to just milk the system. We've been taking toward that recovery levy since when? All right, those were just for subsidies. We've not been able to pay it. It's increasingly obvious that that debt has rather grown. So we ask ourselves, has that brought efficiency or not? You know, and I don't think it has.
The boss of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors hinted an audit is ongoing by the Finance Ministry, the Bank of Ghana, and the Chamber government debt to the BDCs. He also indicated only a partial figure is likely to be released in a week or two.